Hey, this is Dez from High on Fire, and you're listening to Four on a Hunt Voll Metal.
Thank you for taking the time.
No problem.
I appreciate it. I guess there are better things to do than talk about whatever.
Hey,
because you don't know what I'm going to ask
I don't. I have no idea what I'm in for. But it's okay. I mean, there's other bands or musicians who wish they could take the time after to talk about their band. So
Yeah.
I try to make it, I try to be positive about the interview process.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Could metal music exist without distortion?
Probably not. I mean, you could do it, but I mean, you won't get the full effect. Because I know, being the drummer in the band, watching these guys go off and kind of nerd out on their tones. That's for guitar. Obviously, you think of metal, you think of guitar playing, and just like it's distorted guitar. So probably not. I mean, I guess you could do it, but it just maybe it'll take away some of the drums will still sound good.
Yeah.
But
even the drums, most of the drums get distortion in the studio, don't they?
No, well, they get some effects. Yeah, like reverb, like the echo. Once we did an effect of a little bit of distortion on the drums, where at the end of a song, I think it was called Razor Hoof on our second record. Like it was at the end of the song, I did this little kind of drum beat with a lot of tom stuff and just repeated it over and over. And the engineer added a little bit as the drum part went on, kind of added more distortion, so it just sounded more blown out and by the end. So it was actually kind of cool. But other than that, drums don't usually use distortion. So
you think no?
You can do it. I just don't think it would be as cool without distortion on the guitars. So it might sound like 1950s, Chuck Berry doing metal or something,
If you play the drums and you bash the shit out of your drum kit.
That's what I'm saying. The drums still sound cool. Guitars maybe not. Yeah.
So we never know.
Yeah,
maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day. And then the drummer will be the focal point and the most exciting of the metal band.
So. Sometimes he is.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah,
I like to watch the drummers.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I think the drummer is most important for the power and aggression for the band. My personal opinion.
Yeah.
Whatever. Second question.
Okay.
Does metal music still has development potential?
I mean, it almost seems like any direction it can go in, it's gone there, because there's so many like subgenres now: doom metal, thrash metal, speed metal, black metal, and everyone has it. Every style has a different feel. But I guess it can always sort of, in a way, be reinvented or different styles merged or morphed. But I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's kind of been taken to its limit, sort of. But I'm sure there's someone out there that can think of a way to push it a little bit more. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I guess you're kind of on the verge of going experimental. I guess as far as prog metal goes, you could probably still get even more progressive, maybe. But in the end, it's just how you manipulate the different notes and timing. So, we shall see, I guess. I don't know.
See, okay. But you think it's possible?
It is. I mean, I guess you always hear there's always a breakthrough band that does something that just fucking blows people's minds, and they're like, "Holy shit! How did they even think of doing it like that?" So, I guess it is possible.
That's great. That's positive.
Yeah.
Like you said in the beginning. That's very positive. Great.
Hopefully it's us. Maybe you never know.
Yeah. Maybe you start the thing with the non-distorted guitars.
Never thought of that. Totally.
Hey, Matt, just come on.
Yeah, just try it.
You don't need that distortion.
Yeah, try it just once. Come on. Yeah.
For boosting your ego, you don't need these big amps.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Is there any band that has weak lyrics but excellent music, and vice versa?
Whew, man. Honestly, I can't even remember the last time I read through a lyric sheet. Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't want to call out any bands saying that their lyrics are kind of weak either. I can't really. I mean, for me personally, I know metal and like sci-fi mix a lot, and sometimes it could be cool because it's like cool imagery, but it could also kind of get it on the verge of being a little corny sometimes, depending on how it goes. Or, religion and politics have been thrown in a lot, over the years for metal and punk. I guess that's kind of been, I guess, depending on what direction the world or your country's going, and that'll always be in there, I guess, so, but that can also be like, another, bash on religion or politics or whatever,
So the topic.
Yeah, the topic. It's been done and done and done. But, I guess as long as you have someone like Trump in office, there'll always be inspiration for more of that, So, yeah. But I can't pick out one single band, so sorry. No, I was actually just having a conversation with Alish, our tour manager, about this, where, if the lyrics do get on the verge of just too bad or too corny, cheesy, whatever, then it could affect people's the way they look at the band in a whole. And even though the music's great, if you don't like the lyrics, and it might turn someone off, so I can't. But honestly, sorry to trying to add at least to the answer, but I can't really think of one band where once I read the lyrics, I was like, it just doesn't do it for me.
You didn't get disappointed.
Maybe I try. Maybe I. That's why I don't read the lyrics, because I don't want to get disappointed. I don't want to know what you're talking about. I just want to hear the music.
Is there anything besides music you are passionate about?
Well, recently, that'd be difficult. I have 2 children at home, a boy and a girl, so kind of whatever they're doing, I'm doing with them. I like soccer, or football. Yeah, I know there's a lot of good German teams, a lot of good German players.
And the USA is coming.
It's getting a little better. Yeah. Too bad we didn't make this World Cup, but
in Brazil it was very.
Oh good. Yeah, we did pretty good in Brazil. Yeah. And
that's a big thing in Germany.
Oh, I know.
My goodness.
It's different because, like, say in the States, if you're kind of like a minority if you like it, because most kids growing up, like all the American sports. So to me, it was like something different. But I know over here, whether any European country, probably South American country, that's it. Okay. That's what you do, and the other sports are the minorities kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, that I've been, now that I'm 40, I'll be 45 this summer. I'm just trying to get in better shape, like we talked about earlier. Less drinking alcohol, more exercise. Been running a lot. My son, he does track, and he's really good at the sprinting, the 100-meter. So I've took a little interest in that. Sometimes I'll challenge him to a race. He can't quite beat me yet. He's only 9, but. Maybe when he's 10, yeah, he could beat me. So, I don't know. That's about it. Yeah.
Then I had these guitar questions, and because I know that Matt had some custom stuff built for him, so I was just interested if there are any plans, or maybe if he has plans for getting custom stuff, or is he at the point where he is?
Well, the custom stuff I know he had made with some like pickups. So you're talking about the lace pickups. But I believe his contact at Lace no longer works there. So that was I don't know if those will be reissued again or made again by Lace. I know sometimes he'll work with a person who makes the pedals. So I think there was one Distortion pedal he made, but that was kind of a small run also. I mean, a lot of times something like that, it's if someone on a more independent level of making, you know, parts for stuff approaches us or approaches him. Just because, I mean, I doubt like Boss is going to make the Matt Pike Metal Zone, you know. So and it seems like there's more of those, you know, independent, you know, pedal makers or stuff. I think, and like actually there was, for Jeff, there's a band called Intronaut. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
No.
And they're from Los Angeles, and either the bass player or the guitar player has started to make guitars, and he's made Jeff some bass guitars.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember the name of the company. I'd have to.
And the name of the band was?
Intronaut.
Maybe you can write it down for me, and then maybe I play something at the show.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They did some touring with us. They're more of like a. I think they're like they don't have any singing. It's just all instrumental. But they were all really good musicians.
Okay.
And the drummer, Danny, has played in. He's like a metal for hire drummer guy. He's just always playing in these different bands. And right now I can't mention one other one.
Okay.
But he's like he was just on tour in Europe with Cephalic Carnage, which was another band that we were on Relapse Records with. So he was filling in for them. But anyway, yeah. So Sasha, the bass player, I think, is making guitars. So he's made one for Jeff. Other people have tried to approach Matt to make him guitars, but when it comes to the actual guitar, it seems like you can't really beat, you know, Gibson.
Okay.
Even though they're going bankrupt now. So hold on to your Gibsons, I guess, huh?
Okay, so this is going to be an interesting band to play on the show? Yeah,
they're not like metal, but they're definitely, you know, like I said, the drummer's really good, really technical, kind of metal influenced, and just they're all very good technical players. They did some touring with Tool, you know. So I think like their music is a bit more, I don't want to say emotional, but kind of moody at some points. It's not just like, you know,
we're going to play something.
Yeah, all right, cool.
What made you want to play the drums?
Well, it's going to be funny. All this shit talking about guitar players. Well, it hasn't been shit talking, but you know. In this, so as a little kid, I got into kind of like rock and metal at a young age. My friend down the street, he was 2 years older, his dad had a big record collection. That's when I first heard like Ozzy Osbourne, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, you know, this Rush, goes on, Scorpions, just goes, all the 80s metal bands. So after getting into that, I wanted to play guitar. Now in 4th grade in the school band, you could start string instruments, but not guitar. It was either violin or cello or something. I was like, I can't do that, man. That's not metal. That's not rock and roll, you know? So I waited to the next year in 5th grade when I was 10. Still, they could no guitar in the school band, but they had drums. So I was like, all right, well, I could do drums, you know, but maybe later on down the road, I'll do guitar. And it just stuck with drums. And it was just a snare drum. And then so it was me and one other guy, and the other guy had the stand-up bass on a stand, so boo, you know. And the first song we learned to play was Michael Jackson's "Beat It," because that was popular at the time. So this would have been like, you know, 1983 maybe. So and then I have a birthday in the summer, and then there's Christmas. Birthday, I get one drum. Christmas, I get another drum, and I think I finally had a full drum kit by the time I was 12. And just stuck with it. I'd go down I had a basement and a cellar, put on my headphones and play along on my Sony Walkman with the cassette tapes, play along to just whatever music I was listening at the time. And it just, over the years, it evolved and it went from, you know, Ozzy Osbourne and Motley Crue and Judas Priest to Metallica and then, you know, Slayer, Anthrax, or then even like DRI, or just, you know, whatever. As the older I got, you know, different tastes and different things that I was opened up to, different music. So that was it.
if you had to choose between studio or being on the road or rehearsing, what would you pick?
Well, I'd say, I guess, being on the road, just because even though as we're getting older, touring isn't quite as easy. We can't just keep doing it as much. But playing after you get, you're well rehearsed, you're in a good room where there's a good sound system, a good crowd. It's just that energy and the live sound. Just can't beat it. Rehearsing at this point, rehearsing's a little boring just because it's like, oh, all right, let's just rehearse these same. We know them. It's just a matter of more like getting our muscles used to playing them. It's not like we have to get in our brains to remember them. It's more like to get the muscle memory going before a tour. And in the studio's fun. It can be a little stressful, at least for us, because a lot of times we go in unprepared. Like, say for us, there's a new record comes out every 3 years. We wish we could make it every 1 or 2, but just it's hard to be that productive to make music where we feel it's quality, So the last 3 records, we go into the studio with maybe like 2/3 of it written. So the first 3 or 4 days is we're still trying to put together these songs. So that could be a little stressful. But once it's together, and especially for me as a drummer, because I'm the first one to lay down the tracks, they got to be just right. And I'm thinking, like, not only am I trying to remember how the song goes, but I'm trying to think of, well, what should I play here? It's a new part. I don't really know the feeling, how the vocal's going to be, But there's also something very satisfying of when you finally get a good takedown and you're like, oh shit, that sounds awesome, So, and it all comes together. But it's still not quite as the rush of like a killer live set. So.
And so the songs are mostly written in the studio?
No, well, in a rehearsal studio. But now we all live in different cities, so sometimes we try to take advantage of technology and like record a part and send them off to each other. So some of it was done that way. Some of it, or most of it, was done, with either 2 of us together or all 3 of us together, just arranging different parts and ideas that we had. But we had most of it written, like I said, probably like 2/3. But we had a lot of parts. And that needed to get put together. So in the studio, we kind of finished some, let's say like maybe another 3 songs of arranging, and maybe coming up with like another part to bridge the 2 parts together. Like we knew they worked well, they just didn't work well right up against each other. So we need something here in between them, and then we're all done. Something like that. So yeah.
Is there any question they have never been asked you that you would like to answer?
So is there a question, like say in an interview, that I've never been asked?
Yeah, but you wish that somebody asked this question. Right. There's something I want to talk about.
Not that I could think of. I mean, I don't know. Just would be more drum stuff, I guess. If it's yeah. So. Yeah. Okay, not that I can really think of. Unless
more drum stuff. What?
Or no, how about all right, a question would be, so do you ever get sick of Matt Pike after being in a band with him for 20 years? I'm glad you asked me that. Yes. All right, that's it.
That's
end. No. But I guess 20 years in a band with someone that's almost like a marriage, So
that's right.
Yeah, you have your ups and downs, but we are still here. So
that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. We're happy.
Yep.
And if you're talking about drum stuff, what is your main interest if you talk to somebody who plays the drums?
For me, I mean, I've noted I like to use a lot of tom work in the drums, so I guess something important for me is how I tune the toms. Try to get them a nice big sound and not too tight, and yeah, just whenever I get a chance to throw in some cool tom beats, I do. You know, I know on this next record that's going to be coming out, there might even be 1 or 2 songs where I don't even really use a hi-hat or a ride cymbal to keep the timing. It's just kind of a lot of tom work. So I mean, that's.
So you work on this, on your drum sound? Do you still work on like, oh, I use different heads this time, or?
I'm constantly trying to use different heads, and actually recently I've constantly been messing with my pedals. I don't know why, but in the last like year or two, I've gotten like, this doesn't feel right. Maybe I should do this, or maybe I should try a different one, or maybe you know, it's been a little frustrating. But I think, you know, I think that's very normal, not just for a drummer, probably for any musician that's been doing it for so long. You get something in your head, and you're just like, maybe, you know, for a guitar player, the action, you know, your string size, or you know, messing with your tones, you know, maybe, you know, like it's almost perfect, maybe a little bit more mid, and you do that, you're like, no, and then you're like, oh god, now it sounds awful. Yeah. So
but I think somebody like Lemmy, I think he didn't experiment at the end.
Yeah, I think he would just walk in, and his tech would just hand him his bass, and he would just play.
Yeah,
I'm sure they even, you know, dealt with all the knobs and his tones and whatever else. So
okay, this is I'm very happy, and I think it took a little bit longer than
it's all right.
Okay?
Yeah. No worries.
Great.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
Very nice.
All right.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice talking with you.